welcome to another episode of Hobby Night School. We are so excited to have one half of the sports card couple with us. You would probably
the good half,
the better half, obviously.
Anybody that doesn't grace us with their presence does not get credit from me. Normally, I'll look out for the fellas, but I'm all in on Katlyn.
Yes, we have Katlyn from Stand Up Displays, and we are very honored to have you. We are a huge fan of your product. I've been putting together what I want to order, and so we're going to talk all things collecting with your partner, collecting, being a business person versus being a collector. You run the gambit, and that is an amazing you're just a wealth of information.
Katlyn, let me tell you one thing before I turn it over to you. Court liked you the moment you gave her props and gave her a shout out on social media with Courtney being the clout chaser that she is.
Yes,
you went
absolutely.
from here to here. And she was like,
gosh.
You're the best.
Anyone who says nice things about me, immediately I'm like, oh my gosh, they're amazing.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love what you guys do, and it makes it easier for us to feel like we can get involved as a couple in the hobby and to be involved in the hobby in general. So I thank you. And it makes me look up to people who I know are good parents, good influences. So thank you for what you do. I appreciate it. So
I appreciate that. I do feel like we're good parents. So I will take those flowers. He was joking about the other thing, but I do feel like we're good parents.
Even though every night
I'm the one that gets the big head in the relationship too. So I totally get it. So
being a good parent, though, is every night laying in bed, reevaluating every decision you make, wondering, did you put your child in a position to be successful, or did you destroy them for life?
Yeah. How much therapy are they going to need from this day? Just this day.
I'm just soaking it all in for when we have family one day. That's all I got to say. So soak it all in.
So how did you guys meet? And did you guys collect before you met, or was this something that kind of blossomed with the relationship?
So we met, it'll be 7 years ago. It'll be 8 years next year. And we met on Tinder. We're a Tinder couple.
Oh, wow.
So yes,
awesome.
we swiped right to each other, and it was first Tinder date and last Tinder date. So it worked out really well for us. So I was finishing up college and he was finishing up college, and it was our last weeks, and we just happened to match because of the way that our Tinder profiles were set up. So it worked out perfect. And I was actually in the area staying for a job part-time as a radio DJ. And at that point I was like, I'm going to go into the music industry. I went to school for music business. So I was like, I'm going to go to Nashville and I'm going to.
Are you my husband?
I went to school for music business originally, and then I went to school for radio and TV later in life, 2 degrees, and I play with cardboard.
It's funny because before this job, I was in television. I was doing television sales. So we all have so much in common. This is really funny. So, oh my gosh. So yeah, it started out that way, and we both love sports. I grew up as a band geek, going to sport games, going to football games and stuff like that. So I love sports. It was big into our family, and my husband played a lot of sports as a kid. Every single sport in college, because he went to a smaller school, so he played all the different sports. So we love going to sports games. We're big Philadelphia fans, so we're Eagles, Phillies, everything Philadelphia in our household. So we go to games all the time, or whenever we get the chance to, because we're outside of the Philly area. We're up an hour and a half. So we love games. And our friend was like, hey, have you heard of sports cards and collecting cards? And we were like, collecting what? And so it's just he's like, yeah, you should look into this. And we looked into it. We bought a couple of boxes on Pristine, those mystery box things. And then it just grew into buying wax at Target and wax at Walmart. And then it grew into, oh, there's a card show in our area. Let's go to that. And let's go to the Philly show. And then it just the snowball it just went very fast down the hill. And we did it together because we love sports. We love collecting. We're baseball people. We collect baseball mostly. So it's the prospecting side is really fun, especially for my husband. It's really fun for him. So that's how we got started. And an opportunity came up for me to be in the hobby and to get out of the career I was in. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump on this opportunity while it's here. And I feel like this industry is growing and it's expanding. And so I was just all in for it. So that's how we got started into the collecting side of things.
That's an awesome story. I think it's sort of every card bro I've ever met's dream to meet a woman who absolutely loves sports, loves collecting, and gets to have a job in the sports card industry. You are living the dream, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, there's going to be a total card bro who's going to listen to this, and he's going to take Tinder, swipe right, whip out your PC, match made in heaven.
Well, yeah,
That's all it takes to
you
show up
enjoy
your
sports
PC
too. And if you
sometimes.
find a girl that goes to sporting events, she'll probably get into cards. That's kind of how it felt for me. I'm like, oh, I love this player. Like, I love Bryce Harper. And oh my gosh, this is his autograph. Whoa, that's so cool. Like, that's what really drew me into like that kind of, and the excitement of pulling the card out of the pack. Actually, before we got on, we just opened a bunch of cards, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have this kind of SSP, and like we're just like sitting there really excited about what's
Nerding
the
out.
excitement and the what's next in the wax situation. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun to say the least.
So we met in real life for the first time at the National, but
Yes.
this wasn't your first National, right?
No, we went last year because we're from Harrisburg, so it's about 2 hours from Atlantic City, and we frequent there probably once a year just for a nice long weekend. It's a good getaway for us because we don't have kids. So we're like, you know what? We know where we're going. We know what we're doing. We know where to stay, all of that kind of stuff. And we're like, let's go experience it. And our friend Ross, who got us into the hobby, was like, hey, you guys need to go to the National if you're going to really be into this. And we were probably about 6 months into the collecting experience, and it just blew my mind. Like, it blew me out of the water. Like, how many people were so involved, so invested, what types of cards you can collect. I was like, you can collect like autographs of personalities and like celebrities. Like, that was the moment that it kind of clicked for me, that there was so much more to just than just sports. And like, I was in the generation of Pokemon. So I grew up with like Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Magic the Gathering cards. And we had those as kids. Unfortunately, we don't have the good ones anymore. But I know it's one of those things where your mom throws it out and you're like, Mom, why'd you throw that out? Kind of thing. So yeah, it was a very, very interesting experience being on the outside, and then meeting you this year was really different for me because I was on the business side of things. So it was talking to people, networking, not really spending as much time actually in the cards, but like really getting to know the community, the people, the business people. I met so many people. I probably will meet them again and not remember their names because I've met so many people over the week. It was just overwhelming how much there was to that. And also that this year's national was so much bigger didn't help either.
It was.
So how do you go from AC 6 months into your hobby experience to fast forward 1 year and now you have a business operating in the hobby?
So I'm very, very blessed that I went into the industry in a business where it was established. So Stand Up Displays is owned by my boss Dan. He's the owner and the founder. Wonderful, wonderful person. Him and his wife run the business together. They've been doing it full time for 2 years. So I'm so glad that I got into a company that really cares about me. They really, really care about the hobby too. They care about everybody involved in the hobby, and being there for them to guide me. And then we also partnered with SCI. So we shared part of their booth as part of the partnership with them. And they were just so inviting and welcoming with everything and helping me feel comfortable with it and saying, like, go and have fun. Have fun that week. It's about business, but you need to have fun as well. That's why you got into this industry, is to have fun as well as do your job in a way.
So that's a lot of people think that they're going to get into the space and it is going to be all fun. And it is a lot of fun, but there is a lot of hard work to it. We were talking like before we jumped on about how it feels a little overwhelming, and you go from last year with the smaller national and just kind of being there and experiencing it and taking it all into this year, like having to work. And this year was like that for me for the first time too. And it was a lot more. It felt more intense because you have a schedule. You can't just wander around and like take everything in and see what's going on and have fun. You have to do certain things. And it's weird because I'm not even actually like I'm not working, but it is work because you schedule things. So talk a little bit about what you found surprising about the work side of it versus just going and experiencing it.
So I was very surprised as to how busy our booth was. I was overwhelmed by the amount of people that visited our booth, because there were times and there were three of us there. So there was me, there was Dan, and then his friend Brian, who does the stickers for a lot of our people. We were very fortunate to have three people in our booth but it was just overwhelming how many people would walk up, ask us questions, want to touch the product, see the product, ask lots of questions. And so I got to meet shop owners in that way that weren't necessarily set up, but it was managing, okay, I need to actually go out and see people and talk to breakers that I've been emailing back and forth for months, and talk to these business people that I've been talking to on the phone, or I want to meet this person in person for the first time. And sometimes there were just, it's funny because there was the guys from DCI. I've been wanting to meet them the whole entire week, and we ended up sitting next to each other at dinner on Saturday night. So it just happened by coincidence at that point. So it was just overwhelming how many people were there. I think that was probably the hardest part, is just balancing the amount of people that were at our booth, engaging, wanting to ask questions, wanting to get involved and learn a little bit
People that you
more.
wanted to meet and didn't get to catch up with because it was so crazy.
Yes, exactly. There were a few people that I emailed and I was like, I'm so sorry we didn't get to meet. I know you're going to be at this event. Let's meet up. Hey, are you going to be at this event in February or April or March or whenever there's all those hobby events going on? Or hey, are you going to the industry summit? Let's meet up there, because we just couldn't leave the booth. But it was a really, really, really good thing for us because we sold out of product. We got the information out about what's coming up and what's new and what's being released. And it was overwhelming, but it was good overwhelming.
Is it safe to assume that Saturday night after dinner, Jason stuck you guys with a big bill and then dipped out?
No, we went to a dinner with a bunch of different LCSs, so that was really cool to meet people. And I got to meet Rob from Burbank, which was really nice to chat with him about the industry. And he wanted to know about me as a woman in the industry, what it's like. And being there with Dan and having that encouragement from him was really exciting, because it made me more excited to be involved, because there were so many people that were behind me being a part of this as well.
I wanted to touch on that a little bit, because it is awesome to see more women not only like collecting but being part of companies. And you are a big I would argue like one of the faces now of this company, even though it's not like necessarily your company, you're out there marketing it. I started like being involved and wanting to purchase products because of my relationship with you. So talk a little bit about, did you visit?
Actually, you gave Courtney a shout out. Courtney went like this, and then Courtney's happiness resulted in me wanting to buy stuff as well.
Okay. Jeremy, it continuously.
I just need to make more friends. Everybody could be my friend, and we'll do business together. We'll all have fun. So
my question is this: how much did you involve yourself in any of the Women in the Hobby events that were going on? Did you go to the booth? Did you link up for any of the cocktail hours, the trade nights? How did you feel about that? Does it feel nice to have a space in there where it feels inclusive for women, or was it like, I was too busy for that, I didn't get to do as much as I wanted?
So I was busy, but I felt included because I've met so many amazing women in this industry, like before I even got to the national, which made me feel more comfortable talking to people, being at the booth. And we did the Women in the Hobby stands. Actually, I have one here. I don't know if you could see it. Here's the Women in the Hobby stands, which are, if you're listening, you won't be able to see it, but you could check it out on our Instagram page. We did a Women in the Hobby stands special fundraiser for that, which made me feel really included. And I loved meeting all of the amazing women. It's funny, the month before I was in this massive group chat with Kayla Collects and Mama Breaks and a bunch of other people in the industry. And that made me feel really connected to them as a woman, just being able to be like, oh, I have somebody to lean on and ask questions about, people who've been collecting for a long time and who are really involved, and they know people. I'm going to get to know people. It's just a big bundle of networking, which is so awesome to feel supported in that way. So I didn't get involved as much because I was a little overwhelmed with the work side of things. But now that I've been through one, I'm like, okay, now I know how to balance everything the next go around.
That's awesome. I'm really glad. I have to say, it has been wonderful, like meeting other women that collect. I have like 99% of my friends in this space are men, because it's a very like large, masculine dominated space. So it is nice to, have other women to chat with and, ask questions to, or you don't feel like, oh, he's gonna think I'm dumb if I ask this.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel really good about it. I love my husband very much. I love doing it with him, but it's cool to just like be like, oh, I can break away and go do something else while he goes to a trade night, or feel comfortable enough to go hang out at like a women's event or go to a cocktail hour if I want to, because like they enjoy what I enjoy and I actually enjoy doing it myself. Like I have my own little collection going on, and but we have our own collection, and so it's a very different dynamic that I'm really excited about. And I really hope that other women and other spouses will get involved with their partners and do it with them, but find something unique and something different that you're interested in collecting.
So a lot there that I want to touch on. One is we deal with a lot of people. We set up at one monthly show, and it's like one of the biggest it's one of the biggest shows in Michigan, and we've got the same spot, and people come up, and whether it's male or female, we treat them the same. We don't assume that anybody collects or they don't collect. They get the same treatment. And one thing that I feel like Courtney's done a great job as an ambassador to the hobby is helping the fellas, because they're always like, oh, you've got the greatest thing ever. Because, Sunday nights for us are on PWCC. We're constantly talking about cards, and people are like, that's awesome. But Courtney will school them like, you need to find something that'll grab their attention. And so that's where things like pop culture cards and stuff like that is helped. And we've had people buy us out. They're like, this is so cool. My girlfriend, my spouse loves Stranger Things or loves Disney. And the amount of females that we have that are involved in our social media, or, whether we're selling an ISO or drip, they're involved as a direct result of Courtney schooling their husband, boyfriend, significant other is nuts. At first I thought, okay, that's just a one-off. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. So like the guy will come up and he's like, how do you do it? And I'm like, this is how I do it. Court, school this kid. And then I get the hell out of the way. Second, what is the PC for you and your husband, and what is the personal PC?
So we have a lot of Philadelphia Phillies cards, like tons of them at this point. Like I had to separate all of our personal collection from actual like Phillies cards, because we love baseball, we love our team, we love the players, and so we're big Bryson Stott fans. He's our second baseman, so we have a lot of his autographs and all of his cards, and they do really well in our market too. So when we go to shows in Philly, they sell really well too. So it's a good sell, but also collecting piece. So we don't feel like if it's a good card that somebody will have a good home for, we're okay with parting with it, but we know that it'll always have a special place in our home too. And then we also have a lot of he has his own collection of cards. He loves the Aces right now on the Series 1 and Series 2, the Aces cards. So we're kind of collecting that set. He likes the My House cards. So we've been collecting some of those. And I am only 8 cards away from completing the whole home field advantage set. That's my big PC, is just I want to finish home field advantage and have every single one of them. That's just been, I started with the first one when I pulled it out of a blaster box. I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm determined. I'm going to finish it. So
that's awesome. You said My House. If you were to look right there, that is you're not going to be able to see it, but that's the entire Kobe White rookie My House set minus the 1 of 1 and the gold. And if you were to go look at all the comps on Card Ladder or wherever you go to check your comps, you will see the high, and we are the high on every single one, because I need this card. I have to have it now. It'll never be available again. And so I've got to this point in building the set, and I'm 2 cards away. I found the gold, and the guy wants like $6,000 for it. And I'm stupid, but not that stupid. And I've just never seen the 1 of 1.
Yeah. I actually know it's black. Right, black 101.
I've never even seen what it looks like.
I've seen
every show we go to. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for. I mean, what are you gonna look for? What prospects? What players? I'm like, I'm looking for my home field advantage cards. Like that's what I'm looking for. Like I'm on a mission now. Like I'm so close to finishing it, and then update will come out, and then I'll have a whole new set of cards. So
we have gone through that collectively, where we'll build the set. It's the greatest thing ever, and then like a week later, we're like, let's move on to something else. Let's piece it out and move it.
We've done that, or we've sold it all the set. We did the
2 different sets of Star Quest.
The Star Quest, the Slams. Remember? We had the entire set of that. I actually have built the entire set of the Stranger Things cards from the National last year. And that I'll never sell. That I'm like obsessed with that. But beyond that,
Dewdrop.
We
almost have the Dewdrop rainbow completed.
Yeah, for Prism. I don't.
That's
We like
awesome.
to build sets. This what was the black and white one?
The black and white one.
It was like a net and. I'll think of it later. We've built so many sets.
Oh, it was like a 90s insert set for basketball. I forget what it's called.
I can't remember what it's called. You can picture it though, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we like I feel like you go through phases as a collector.
Yeah.
Shows how good that set is. I don't even remember.
I
can picture it.
Exactly. Yeah. You go through like, okay, this is the player I want to collect, or this is the person I want to collect. We were all into Andrew Painter as a prospect in our pipeline. And like, then he got injured and we're like, okay, maybe we'll just hold on to his cards and maybe we'll buy a little bit later. And so it's always changing. It's always evolving. And that's the one thing I love is just, there's new sets, there's new inserts, there's new like things that we find that we're like, oh, maybe we'd be interested in collecting this and collecting that. And we're a collecting family. So it's like everything's a collection in a way. So it's a really cool industry for sure.
So you guys don't have kids?
I have a question.
Okay, I haven't.
Okay, so this is like, and it might be unique to only a handful of couples in this space. One, like maybe in the middle of COVID, we decided to take a road trip down to Atlanta. We got this Airbnb that we had no business staying in, but because the economy being such a way that we got it, like it had like 4 master suites in it, steam room, hot tub. Like, I mean, it was ridiculous.
In the side of a mountain.
Yeah, it was like normally like $4 or $5K a night. We got it for like $300-$400 a night. But on the way there, we stopped at every single card shop in our way. We went thrifting or we went to antique stores because Courtney's like, maybe they'll have cards. And I am like, that is the dumbest idea I have ever heard. And we absolutely crushed because there was cards everywhere.
Carmelo Anthony rookie cards, stacks of them.
Refractors, Kobe, all this stuff. And the crazy thing is the people were selling it, all the good stuff, they wanted like $0.25 a card. Anything that was like in plastic or screw downs, like, no, these are expensive. $10.
These are really good. Because they didn't know.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we get to the place where we're like grilling steak and we bring a fold-up table and we're prepping a PSA order. And this while on vacation, we get away from the kids. And that night, as we're laying in bed, maybe enjoying like, a bottle of wine or something like that, we looked at each other and just started laughing. Like, who else in the world is doing this? Like, we're legitimately enjoying one another's company, but we're sitting here playing with pieces of cardboard. Nobody is ever going to be able to relate. So my question for you is, do you guys have a story like that where like you realize like in your neighborhood, most of the people would think that you're batshit crazy?
Okay, so I felt like that kind of like, it's weird because I felt like that at the National because there's not many couples that do this. And we're sitting in there like it's the end of the day and we're like, okay, we need to go to dinner. We need to go to trade night. You want to open a box of cards? Like we bought a whole case of Series 2 before we went to the National because we wanted silver packs. And we had this huge case of Series 2 and we're like, well, I guess we need to open this. So like every night it's like sitting, opening cards. And like, we do it probably like once a week at this point, like just randomly buying a box at Target or like buying a box here or the newest release or like, it's so much fun. And it's funny you say that you when you plan your trips, you plan like card shows, like card shops to go to around. Every time we're driving home from somewhere, if it's Atlantic City, when we were driving home from Chicago, I'm sure that when we go to the beach in a couple weeks, like Joey's gonna be like, so what card shops are we gonna go to in New Jersey? Like, are we gonna go somewhere? And I'm just gonna be like, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll plan out the trips and what card shops to go to. So I think that's probably a place where we can relate that most people can't. And I think that's really, really, really cool too.
I don't think we do anything, and there might be tax purposes why you do this, but like anywhere where we travel, somehow it's just expected that there's going to be some sort of card involvement. So we were on vacation for like Christmas through New Year's with her parents, and I was like, okay, I guess this is going to be a cool vacation. We're not going to do anything. And Court's like, no. I got my mom watching the kids this day. We're going to Leighton Sports Cards, and we tipped out. We were gone for the day, and we were like, we went there, and Rich and Sarah were awesome, great host, showed us around. Awesome. We went and had Chinese and Sapporo.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, it's so funny. I think about that too. Like the trip to Georgia, that was like a long time ago. And it was before, we were making content or anything. I think had we like made content around like a romantic couple vacation that also included stopping at card shows, it would have been wildly popular because honestly, you think about that. Who does that? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. And it was, well, Christina and Haj do, because they're always posting that they're off, adventuring at some card shop together. And I'm like, oh, that's romantic.
Oh, I'm sure you'll see. We're going to the beach with our family in like 3 weeks, and it'll probably end up being, hey, we went to a card shop. Here's the stuff that we got, like kind of thing. Like, see you for a week. Oh, nope, I lied. I went to a card shop and I pulled this card and this card and this card. Like, because it's just part of our routine at this point. Like, it's something that we enjoy doing. And I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do when we actually like go somewhere different and like try somewhere else new? Like, we got to plan out the different places to go to. So yeah, it's very different, but a lot of fun.
I think that we're very fortunate because one day, like, Manny calls me and I just picture him laying on his tummy with his like legs like kicked up, and he's just like this, playing on his phone. And I'm like, dude, why are you calling me a million times? He's like, I have nobody to talk to about cards. He's like, you get to talk to Courtney all day. And so there was like one day, it was like, hey, did you see this from Sports Card Radio? Hey, did you see that post? Oh, that Jordan is sick. And it dawned on me, it's like, wow, like I have that release valve right there. Like, we're constantly going back and forth. And for other people, they don't have that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I'm very, very fortunate. So
I have a horrific hypothetical for you. You don't have kids
Here we
yet.
go.
You don't have kids yet. What happens? You have children someday and none of them like sports cards. Would that be like a nightmare? Because I would be so sad if my kids didn't like
Oh my
cards.
gosh. I think it'll be a nightmare if they don't like sports, because like my husband's a sport guy, our family is sports people, like, but like I have the music gene. So it's like, okay, where do you find the balance of like having a kid that likes music, but also like sports? And they're gonna try every sport when we have kids. And so I'm hoping that it'll kind of come in time, but I don't know. I think you kind of just have to play it out and find things that they like. And now, because of the way that the industry is growing, that like the TCG market, the like pop culture market is growing so much that probably by the time we have kids and they're old enough to collect, there'll be cards for literally everything humanly possible. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I saw a Hot Wheels card when I went to Chantilly a couple weeks ago. I was like, there were Hot Wheels cards? Like, I had Hot Wheels. Well, I had Hot Wheels because my brother had Hot Wheels growing up. Like that's really, really, really cool. It's like a nostalgia thing for me. So I hope that there's some kind of thing that they like to collect. If not, their mom's going to drag them to work events. So they're kind of stuck.
I would say we're very fortunate because our kids love sports and they love music. Like,
Yes.
they're either 1A or 1B, depending on the day, which is awesome. But I never understood, like, Courtney would always run around the house, or like she would look at them and like very sternly, and she would just say like numbers and like what sounded like an address. And finally I Googled it, and it was the fire station. And so what she was telling the kids is, if you don't get in line, I'm going to go drop you off. No questions asked.
Yes,
oh my gosh, that's funny.
It's threatening constantly that if they don't do what I like, that I'm going to throw them out. So it is
That's
really
awesome.
important to me that they just fall in line.
Oh, that's so great.
Does your family think you're crazy, or do they all collect too?
No, none of my family actually does. It's really crazy because neither does my husband's family. Like, my husband's family's big sports people. They go to sporting events. We all go to sporting events together. And they're like, oh, that's cool. You really enjoy that. And like, you guys have something that you enjoy doing together, which makes us closer. And that's like the one thing that I really enjoy, is like, this is something that we can do together, something that we enjoy doing. And when you find that in a relationship, I think that's super, super important. And sometimes I've taken it for granted, and sometimes we've taken it for granted, but I'm very, very grateful now that I'm working in this industry full time, that it's just, I can enjoy what I'm doing, but I also can like actually like do business and meet people and network. It's a really cool dynamic now at this point.
Growing up as somebody who would go to any and all sporting events, and not just baseball, but baseball, basketball, football, soccer, hockey, mixed martial arts, you name it. We are a sporting family. So I'm always interested in like people's favorite sporting events or sporting memories. I'm going to take out your number one because you guys are Philadelphia fans. So I'm sure you enjoyed throwing batteries at JD Drew, because I know how Philadelphia fans get down.
Okay, I told this to Manny when I met him. I said, we're not the crazy Philly people.
Terrible.
So I told Manny when I met him at the National, I was like, you say Philly people are crazy. We're not. we're the nice ones. We're the normal ones. We don't throw snowballs at Santa Claus. We sit there and we yell and we clap and we're happy. But yes, there are crazy people in our city, but we're really, really, really passionate about our teams.
So passionate. Do you guys like to like riot and stuff when your teams win?
We're gonna greet JD Drew with a Duracell to the head.
That's why they grease the poles. It's for the fun.
So what are some of your guys' favorite sporting memories? Or like events
actually,
that you've gone to?
So the most recent one is last year. We went to the NLCS Game 5 for the Philadelphia Phillies. It was the game clinching game for them to win the World Series or go to the World Series. It was unreal. Like, I will never ever experience a sporting event like I did that day. We sat at the very top of the row at the very end, and it was pouring down raining the whole game, but we were not getting wet because there were people above us in our section. So we were dry the whole entire time, and it's pouring down raining. And at the end of the game, like in the 8th inning, when Bryce Harper hits the home run, right before that, Joey goes, Bryce is going to hit a home run. I know it. It's going to happen. We're going to the World Series. He hit that home run and everybody screamed so loud and the stadium was shaking. Like, I literally could feel my feet shaking. It was unreal. Like, I have to send you the video of me when we won. I was like, we're going to the World Series, like screaming my head off. Like, it was so unreal. Like, I don't think, unless we actually go to a World Series game and like when you win the World Series, like I will never ever experience anything like that ever again. And last night when the Phillies had the no-hitter, like that's probably going to be close, but not as close to what we had experienced. I was so glad to be there.
The no-hitter was incredible. I watched the clip and I'm a crier. And the video of his mom and girlfriend or wife just being so happy on his behalf was one of like, that's like just an incredibly beautiful moment that like I watched like 3 times. I'm like, that is so awesome. But when you talk about the stadium vibrating, I remember in 2003 going to a Cubs playoff game. And that was eventually they got knocked out by the Marlins when Miguel Cabrera came up as like a young kid that nobody knew anything about that prior to his Hall of Fame career.
Miggy.
Yeah, Miggy. Shout out to Miggy because now we sell his cards to make money. So that's my guy.
Yeah.
But I do remember like Waveland Avenue was a sea of people. And anytime anything would happen, you legitimately felt like the stadium was moving.
Yeah, they recorded an earthquake like in Philadelphia when that happened. Like they were when the home run was hit. Like it was the most magical moment you can ever experience. And yeah, people went on the streets. Everybody does that when their team wins. They get so excited. They go into the city. They jump up and down. We're going to the championship game, like all of these wonderful things. But if you ever get to see your home team, go to like a game, like a playoff game, you'll never experience anything like it ever again. Like,
well,
it's
I'm
amazing.
a Bears fan, so that might not happen for us. But the Cubs did win the World Series in 2016, so
you never know. You never know with Justin Fields.
So I want to share just a story since we're talking about sports. Is I took Steven, our son, to Dallas for a Sunday night, a Sunday night Bears Cowboys game. And there's this awesome barbecue spot right outside of like Arlington. It's called Heart 8 Barbecue, and they have these grills that are massive. You order whatever you want. They put it on the tray. They weigh it, and then you pay by the pound. So we get in the night before. We go out. We have dinner. Whatever. How old was he at the time?
He was probably like 9.
So he sucks. He doesn't pay for anything. He doesn't want to party. He doesn't want to go holler at girls. Doesn't want to go to the club. Doesn't want to do anything. Wants to suck his thumb, fall asleep. So we wake up the next morning. I get coffee, and he's like, I want to get a donut. I'm like, no. This place opens at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. You are going to feast. You're going to be so good. We go, get like $100, ribs, brisket, the whole 9, anything he wants. And as you pay, they give you what they call Texas toast, which is like thick slices of Wonder Bread.
It's my husband's favorite.
And this kid starts eating the bread. He's got like stuff fresh off the grill, like instantly pisses me off. I'm like, no, put the damn bread down, eat the damn barbecue.
Eat the meat.
So anyway, at this point, I hadn't bought tickets. I'm like, you know what? I've got an Amex that's going to work. And there's just the 2 of us. We're going to be able to get in somewhere. It's just a matter of what we want to do. And so we're going. I'm like, hey, buddy, what do you want to get? What do you want to do? And at the end of the day, maybe I convinced myself, but I used him as a conduit. Said like, so, like maybe a once in a lifetime experience. I want it to be memorable. So we get like the best seats. Like we're right next to Jerry Jones. the whole shebang. I look up, and the kid spent the entire game like this, watching the damn TV that hung above instead of
The
like
giant.
like a cheerleader could have hit him in the face. He would have known any better because he was like this.
Oh my
I
god.
could have gotten like the $35 ticket to the 500 level, and it would have probably been a more enjoyable experience for him. He wouldn't have had a sore neck.
And he kept getting like so upset because like everybody would start cheering and there's like a slight delay, so he kept missing what was happening.
Oh.
There'd be like things, and I'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, that was a great play." I'm like, "Steven, that's a commercial. The game's right here."
It was so funny though because when they got there, Jeremy sent me a video of Steven and he's literally just jumping. He's so excited. He bounced from like the second they walked up to the stadium all the way through like the stands everywhere. He's bouncing with excitement. He's 15 years old now. He still talks about that. Even though he watched the whole game on the Megatron, he still talks about that being like one of the coolest events and things he's ever done in his whole life. So
That's awesome.
Our 6-year-old was 2 weeks old when she went to her first baseball game in Detroit. Like this is something that is like deeply ingrained in our children. I wanted to talk just a little bit more about your company that you work for. So,
yes.
For anyone, because you're on here, let's take the chance, like for people who maybe don't know what, stand-up displays are, about your partnership with SCI, what you guys are doing, how you're growing in this space. Let's kind of talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so we always showcase our very stand. So if you haven't seen us before, go on a Whatnot stream. We're probably on there. We were actually talking to somebody at the National. They're like, you get free advertisement pretty much every night because you're on Whatnot streams because everybody has our product. So if anybody's not watching on video, I apologize. I will kind of walk through the design, but you could check it out on our website, standupdisplays.co. Or you can check out our Instagram page. It's a really great place. So the very stand is here. So it's got the adjustable back, so you can adjust it to whatever size you need. So whatever size card. So if you have even comic books fit here. So if you have graded comic books, BGS, SGC, and then it's our direct print style. So here we have the women in the hobby stand. So this is directly printed on to the stand. So whatever design, whatever logo, whatever marking you want. I had done some for REA, and they had QR codes on them. So it scanned them to a place where you can go and bid. You could put your Instagram, PayPal, whatever you want on those, we can make it happen. If it's not licensed, we can do it. But the best part is we just announced at the National that we have got MLB licensing. So which is so exciting. So coming this fall, we're going to be releasing our MLB team stands after we get all our designs approved. So you're going to be able to buy your favorite teams in stands as well. And then we also have our basic stands, which is awesome. I'll just send you some Cub stands. So I'll get you hooked up. And then we also have our basic stands, which are great for a lot of shop owners. So if you have a shop, you have a place that you want to showcase our products, we'd be glad to have our products in your shop. So this is our basic stand. Actually, let me grab the black one and be able to see it a little bit better. So this is our black stand. It's the PSA stand. So the back of it is flat, which helps with it sitting up. And then all you do is you take your PSA and you click it right into place. This one has a sleeve on it. So, and then it fits nice and tight there.
Oh,
so
that's really nice.
It's really clean. And then we can also do direct print on here as well. So if you want a logo or a design on here too, we can do that. We've done that as well. These sell really great in shop because people if you do PSA bulk submission grading, if you do SGC grading, all of that kind of stuff, people will be like, hey, well, I got this really cool card back. I got this Shohei Ohtani card. I want to showcase it. I want to put it in my house. I want to display it somewhere. But I don't want the bulkiness or design on the front. The basic stand is great because then you still showcase the card, but it's sitting up in a display.
I like that it doesn't rock back like a lot of the stands. It's standing, it's upright.
It sits really, really well. We also have it for top loader, BGS, SGC, tag. You name the grading company, you name the size, 55-point regular top loader. And then also the Very stand too. We also have in a basic style. So it's just a little bit smaller, but it's just black, green, yellow. So if you like for your Pokemon collectors, if you want to showcase your Charizard on an orange stand, we've got basic orange stands too
Orange
that are
is the
really
best
great
color.
for it. It is the best color. I could tell. So yeah, so many different ways to showcase your cards. But the best part too is for breakers and for businesses, people who are just getting into the hobby, want to brand themselves. This is the best way to brand yourself is you take a picture of your card, you have the brand on here, you have your name, your information, and it's free marketing. If you hand it out at events, people take pictures with their cards all the time. Encourage them to take pictures with the stands. It's pretty much free marketing because, as you know, we get tons of t-shirts at events. I came home with, I think I counted like 10 or 15 t-shirts from the National. We probably will never wear them to a hobby event. Maybe my husband will wear one once in a while if he's not wearing a stand-up display shirt because I make him wear them now. But most of the time he'll wear that. If you have these stands that you give out at events, people are going to use them as marketing tools. They're going to use them to take pictures of their cards, to put it on social media. They're going to hang them or put them in their office. I started collecting some of my friends who are in the hobby that have I have their stands, and I keep them on a little bookshelf upstairs. So why not brand yourself around what you're selling? Cards, which is
I
awesome.
like that they fit in there nicely. I know there's a lot of people that maybe they have like 3D printers who print them off. And I know at one show, and this isn't like throwing shade at all, but we had bought a bunch because we thought that we were told they were going to fit everything. And it was just kind of like a black void that everything kind of just sat in and kind of like moved around and wasn't really ideal for showing off cards. I wanted to say one thing is collecting cards was the first thing as a kid. And then as I got older and I was in school for music, like I used to love going to concerts. And so I would get concert posters and then I would frame them, which was really expensive when I was young and I had absolutely no money. And one thing I noticed was a few years ago, Courtney was adamant about getting hobby t-shirts. And I was like, why? Like, I'm just going to throw this away when you're not paying attention. So when you talk about not wearing shirts, actually the exact opposite over here. Any hobby event that we're on, we have a closet that is probably 100 different hobby shirts, 125,
I actually
150.
was thinking about it. I'm going to make like a TikTok where I just like, it'll be like every shirt, I'll just like wear it and it'll like just really fast. I think it would be a minute long. I have so many. Anytime anyone's like, "Oh, I have a t-shirt. Do you want a t-shirt?" I'm like, "Yes." And I wear them all the time.
Yeah.
I wear them out.
Yeah.
I am a nerd. I love them.
Oh, we love them too. And we're very grateful for them. And I think they're great and they're awesome. But yeah, we 100% agree. T-shirts are great. It's great to wear them to events.
You have to wear
them.
I don't even wear my own.
Exactly.
He doesn't. We have Reckless shirts. I wear them. He never wears any of the Reckless stuff. Occasionally, I'll get him to wear too thick stuff. But I wear the too thick shirts. I wear the Reckless
In fairness,
shirts.
I had the.
I don't have a stand-up display shirt.
So that's
oh, maybe
about going about getting a free shirt, man.
For sure.
I will say this: I did have one of my favorite Reckless hoodies, but in our house between Amelia and Courtney, if there's a sweatshirt, like they commandeer it and just take it over, and you never see it again.
That is true. That's true.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Well, the other thing that you pointed out was it didn't fit properly. So Dan worked with the grading company to make them perfectly fit the cards. So we're actually getting our SGC redone because there were some slight issues, but this fits 85% of cards that are graded by PSA or normal graded cards. But if you want a bigger size, that's where the Very stands come into play. So that kind of answers your question as to why it fits so well, is because we work directly with the grading companies to get these molded to the exact size that they need it to be, which is super helpful that they want to work with us. They want to partner with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people who aren't watching or listening, she literally like snapped it in. It's staying on. She lifted it up. It's still stuck to the bottom of it. So that's
and this one has a sleeve in it. So it's going to be a little bit tighter with a sleeve inside of it. But if you don't do it with the sleeve, it's not going to damage the card. It's not going to damage the plasticking or anything plastic of the encasing. So you just know that your card is protected and it's got a nice place to be displayed, which is awesome.
I like that when you pick it up, it's still attached. There's nothing worse than when I'm trying to put a card. If you look behind us, all those cards are on stands that like lean. And I'll be trying to like put one in the back, you know, and then you like knock them all over. I'm sold. I'm all in on these. I'm gonna get a bunch of them.
And then we're also moving into a new product, our mag mount display. So a one touch has little grooves at the bottom. And Brian, who's our sticker guy, created, it was at the National. We're gonna be putting it on our website really soon. It is clear on the back and it clicks into place. And then there's a magnet at the top that attaches the two magnets together to the one touch and the magnet at the back. And then it sticks with the command strip. So all you see is the one touch on your wall. So it's another, we want to innovate. We want to come up with different ways for people to display their cards on their shelves, on their walls. We're going to be doing a partnership with Slab Mags as well with that. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of innovation and change going, but if anybody like has any ideas or anything, we are very more than welcome to innovate and come up with ideas and open to coming up with new products. We're always trying to think of something new to come up with, which is awesome.
What's next in line for show schedule for y'all?
Show schedule. So I will be attending the Philly show. I'll be walking the show floor at the Philly show. That's in a couple of weeks. It's the end of September. And then if we're having the industry summit, we are going to be at the industry summit in some way, shape, or form. We'll have a table there so you can come talk to us or conversate with us. We're wearing the stand-up display shirts all week. So pull me aside, grab my business card. All my business cards come with a PSA and a top loader stand. So you can test the products out yourself, try them out. And then we are going to be headed into the big season. It feels like I'm starting to see that February and March and April are the busy seasons for shows because there's Culture Collision, Burbank. We've got the Mint Collective if it's happening, all those kind of shows. So we'll be at those events. If not, you can reach us on our website, or you can shoot me an email and I can help you out, get you all your needs. So
standupdisplays.co.
.co. Yes.
I will link that in the show notes, guys, so you can check them out. It's a really cool product. I've had a chance now to see it a couple times. I have people that use it. That was sort of how we found it the first time, and then talking to you specifically, and now seeing it with like, you know, my favorite, like legit, I can't get over, like my favorite part about it is how it actually just sticks to the card. Like it stays on, you can pick it up, you can move it around. It's not like you don't have to like move the stand and then hope you don't knock it over. It's so frustrating. I don't know anyone who has used those like little, you know, they look like little easel stands, that do not find them to be the most annoying thing on the planet.
Yeah. And if you're interested, if you have a shop and you want to actually physically sell our products, we sell them in bulk pricing. You can email me. My first name is spelled Katlyn and then at standupdisplays.co. We'll send you a sample of the products so you can actually use it, touch it, try it out. And then I can send you some bulk pricing. I know a lot of the shops in the East Coast are starting to sell it, or at least sell the custom stands that are available. So that's kind of our big push right now, is just getting into shops, because why not give your customers an opportunity to buy our products instead of having to go through our website, wait for the shipping? Why not get it in your shop where you can have it available and profit off of it, which is really fun. So
I think it's great that you get it in the shops. Like we have like maybe 5 or 6 LCSs that are within an hour drive of where we live. And sometimes we're so in the hobby that we fail to remember that like the average person might not be aware of everything that's out there, and they only know what they see at the LCS or what they hear at the LCS. So I think it's good that you guys are making a push to get there.
Yeah. So I will link the website, and I'm actually going to add Katlyn's email address to the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out to her and get those in your shops, which I think is a brilliant idea.
Or custom stands for breaking. I'm here to help there too. Anything. I do some of the designs as well. So,
all right. Well, you're going to see them on Reckless Cards very shortly. You will be seeing them in our stand, in our shops on Drip, and as well as on our page, because I like everything that has Reckless logos on them, because I am a narcissist. So
I get it. I'm starting to plaster our logo, like our personal logo, onto stuff. And Joey's like, "Are we gonna get stickers? Like, are we gonna get shirts? Like, are we gonna?" I'm like, "I don't know. I think I might want to get the logo redesigned, but yeah, maybe." And so trying to brand personally as well as professionally is a good balance as well.
Yeah.
So we got Katlyn, myself, and then Haj, who have gone to school for music business. This might be a thing within the
It might be
hobby.
a hobby thing, guys.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's
It might be a hobby
awesome.
where people like go like musically inclined, go to music, school, and like radio. As far as radio, John collects cards, and he did radio business.
And there you go.
Music business too.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
It is it might be a double passion. I'm not sure.
Or maybe we were terrible at those careers. Hanging out with you cardboard dorks.
If you tell me Joe did hair for 20 years, I'm gonna be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
my gosh,
Well,
that's so funny.
So we really appreciate you spending your evening with us. This was an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see you guys at the next show. Maybe we can all get together in like a smaller, out to dinner, drinks, or coffee. Jeremy likes his coffee.
Ripping wax.
Maybe doing
Yes, exactly.
and that at
Yeah,
the same
so
time.
yeah, next show, let me know when you both are there so I can try and drag Joey along with me because he has limited time with his full-time job, but maybe we'll get him a job in the hobby. So if anybody's hiring, I'll get him to work in the hobby. Don't worry, he'll drop a dime to work. So
let's go. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Katlyn, especially for joining us. And until next time, make good choices and stay safe, guys. Buy what you love. No,
Have a good night.
Bye.